we're all in this for the fun. And a lot of us have this in common. And I hate how people, you got different cliques, right? And there's guys out there that love to give the smaller guys a hard time. I think that just people need to be more humble, and I think more willing to support people and share things. And
hey, this is Mike, also known as JKTrlFnder, and you're watching the Trailhead Podcast.
Let it up, let it roar, I feel the ground shake. Pedal down, dust flying, no time to waste. The trailhead's calling, engine power on a roll. This is where trails start and stories unfold. On the starlit skies, where the wild things roam. Every trail a journey, every Jeep a home. Meet at the trailhead, where the wild ones run. The dust kicks high and the day's not done. With the road wide open and the dirt in our soul. This is where trails start and our stories unfold.
Welcome to the Trailhead, everybody. I am JD, and tonight joining me in the hosting panel is Pope and Randy. How you guys doing?
Great.
We're doing great.
Awesome. Thank you. I know you guys just rolled in, so it'll be getting a little settled. I know there's dog action over there with your giant moose of an animal. And with us tonight is Mike Randol, JKTrlFnder. How you doing, sir?
good. How you doing?
Doing awesome. It's finally nice to have you in the interview chair. We've had you on the show 3 times now.
Yeah.
And it's we're trying to kind of to bring this in because we've had guest hosts here and there, and some of them we've had on for interview shows and some of them we haven't. Now I'm being more stringent about it and make sure everybody gets on. I want to hear from you guys, especially if you're going to be on the show talking with us, because sometimes our shows, I don't know if you're aware of this, our live shows can get a little insane.
Yeah.
And you might not actually get a moment to chat and or speak at all. This is awesome, Mike. Thanks for coming on the show, man.
Well, thank you for having me.
Let's start where you grew up at and where you're at now.
Well, born and raised here in Colorado Springs.
All right.
Still here.
By choice, then?
Well, not really by choice.
Where would you be if you could be anywhere?
Oh, man. My number one priority, or where I would love to be, is Germany. But
okay.
Germany. Wow.
That'll be someday, maybe. I'm thinking that maybe once we retire and Petra's family's out there, we've talked about it. So we might. We'll see. We don't know yet. That's still 15 years away or so.
Well, you guys go to Europe like once a year, or at least you try to, don't you?
Try to, yeah. Yeah, we're getting ready to go here in May. So that was our trade-off for Easter Jeep Safari. We're going to go to Europe instead.
Yes.
Okay. I feel like that's probably the better of the two for at least Easter Jeep Safari is close enough. You can go to it next year.
Yep.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like if you've done EJS a few years in a row, it's going to be good to take a break and go do something else. And going to Europe sounds like a hell of a fun time.
Oh, I can't wait. Yeah. Get out there and explore some more castles and check out some other kinds of restaurants and just do something different.
What's your usual? Do you guys go to the same place? Or are you guys trying to move around from place to place?
What we do is Petra's dad's house is basically our base. You know, we go there, we stay there, and then we'll plan some trips here and there. Like when we went there back in 2022, we stayed in Fussen for a couple of days, and that's where that famous castle is, Neuschwanstein. I can never pronounce it correctly, but that famous fairy tale castle. That we went and checked that out. Usually that's what we do. We go around, we'll get hotels or a hostel somewhere, and we'll do that for a couple nights and check out the area, go see some castles, go check out some of the history.
Have you ever stayed in a castle? I've heard that you can actually stay in castles.
We haven't. And
that would be fun.
I think the ones that I've been to didn't have that option. So but that would be fun.
Some of our friends went to, I think it was Ireland. In Ireland, you can stay, and you can even get the dungeon if you want.
No,
It's way cool. I just think it'd be really interesting.
Yeah, we plan on going to Ireland someday, so we'll check it out.
That's cool.
That's what we want to do. We want to travel more. We kind of we still want to do the Jeep adventures, go wheeling, but I think the older we get, we want to do some more traveling.
I mean, that's fair. I get that as a person who's getting a little bit older too. I'm trying to figure out how to get Jeeping into that. Like I'm not as big a fan of the international flights. So
yeah, that is rough.
All right. So you're Colorado Springs, born and raised.
Yeah.
You're still out there now.
Yeah.
How did you get into wheeling then? Was it just kind of because you're here and you're right next to the mountains and you were out in them, or did you get introduced to it later on?
No, Petra introduced it to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
She had
Like how surprised we all were.
Well, honestly, now that after I met her, I'm not really surprised by it in that manner, but it just kind of like, I would have expected, you're a Colorado Springs kid. You grew up here. Like, that's what I would have expected. It was a local thing.
Yeah. My dad used to do it back in the late 90s, early 2000s. He bought a stock YJ and just totally built. He'd go wheeling it. He'd go wheel it stock. And then he's hanging out with other people. The same thing, they you need this. So he got to the point where he had stretched that thing. He put a V8 in it, and he pissed his wife off at the same time. So, but he was into it. He was doing Moab. He was doing the Gulches and Rainbow Falls, checking out all those areas. I went with him a couple times, and it wasn't my thing back then. I didn't like it. And then I met Petra in her past life with her and her ex-husband. That's what they used to do. They wheeled. She had a lifted. She had a lifted '96 Toyota Tacoma, nice truck, and he had a Jeep Cherokee, and it was lifted. So that's what they did. And they had a house in Buena Vista. So she's very familiar with that area out there. And then when I met her, she had the Toyota, and she had some friends that had a Jeep. So first place they took me was Hackett Gulch. And I remember driving their Toyota, and I was coming down one obstacle, not really an obstacle, it was a really off-camber section, and it really scared the shit out of me.
That's what it's supposed to do, especially if it's your first time doing it.
Yeah. And then the whole reason the Jeep came along is because she went out to the San Juans with her friend in her Saturn that she had at the time, not knowing what it was going to be like out there in the summertime, the trails. And so she couldn't do much. And I remember her calling me and said, "We're getting a Jeep." And
was this in a Saturn sedan or an SUV?
A View, the Saturn View.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yep.
And so is it supposed to be her Jeep, or was it her Jeep and then it turned into yours? That's the next question.
Yeah, no, it's her Jeep, which now has turned into our Jeep. So, yeah, we went and bought that thing. We were looking and looking and looking, and we went up to Denver, and she wasn't too keen on the color, but it was when the JKs ended and the JL started, and they had a good deal on the JKs. It was all they had left, and we looked at a few different colors, so we got that color. We got the Chief Blue, and it's grown on her. She really loves it, but she's more into the scenic trails, like the San Juans mountains. Yeah. That's where she wants to be. I want to be in San Hollow or Moab or Vernal wheeling. So when we go to those areas, that's when I drive. And she'll do the easy trails, but when we go to the San Juans, she'll still spend a lot of time in the passenger seat with the binoculars and then getting out. And as soon as she gets out, she disappears pretty quick because she'll wander off up a mountain or something. And I'm looking around, where the hell did she go? So,
but put a tag on her to make sure you get returned.
Yeah. So
does she do the high up driving? Does she like that?
Yeah. Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
See, I knew we got along. I knew there's lots of reasons why. Yeah. We like the scenic stuff. We like to get up ridiculously high in the mountains, and that's fantastic.
I just can't imagine you without the Cheap Blue. I feel like that's your signature. Right. Like it's so.
I think so. I'm glad we went with that color because it really stands out. You don't see that many of the cheap blue Jeeps out there. Usually I'm the only one on the trails with everybody.
It's often how I feel about yellow, my friend.
Yeah,
I'm often the only one there with it. And I also got it because it was on a special deal in a sale at the end of the year. Yay for saving a few bucks and then falling in love with the color.
Yeah.
How long have you and Petra been married? I don't think we asked that.
We've been together almost 11 years, and we got married in 2020.
Okay, so how long had you guys been wheeling when I ran into you that first time?
We started wheeling in 18.
Okay, so maybe a year, 2?
Yeah.
Okay. Because the first time I ran into you was, of course, on Quarry Road, which is in the Rainbow Falls area by Mini Moab here in Colorado.
Yeah.
And Pope and Randy, when you guys come here, you're just going to have to go wheel on all these trails that we keep mentioning because we keep mentioning them on every show that we talk to a Colorado person from. And just so you know what they are. I mean, like Mini Moab is not hard. Like you could crawl over it without getting out of probably 2-wheel drive. It's a rite of passage here. So. All right, so you start wheeling. Did you plan on kind of doing an Instagram with that, or was it just kind of like, hey, I'm taking all these pictures and I should post them?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a personal Instagram page, and I basically is more into like landscape photography and just taking pictures. My eye would catch and be like, hey, that would be a great picture, and so I'd start posting those just on my personal Instagram page, and then we got the Jeep, and we started meeting people and. They had Instagram pages for their Jeep. I'm like, oh, okay. So, and then of course I was into the drones, capturing, drone videos of the adventures, which just made it so much more, better and better perspective and just made it cooler, I thought. But so that's when I got into that. And I got a lot of attention from the drone videos. That was a lot. That was people like the drone videos. So I just kept posting more and making more.
And I feel like the people who really find that niche, like the drone videos are so good, but it's like trying to find the time on the trail and having like the experience with it to be able to do it really quickly because it's always
and being able to get good at it. Like, I don't even get my drone out. I have joked that every time I use my drone, it costs $300.
Because he breaks it, or
no, because it was a $1,200 drone, and I only used it 4 times.
Oh, okay, that would also
because it's like literally I can't figure out how to get it out fast enough. I can't control it fast enough. I can't get it in position. Like you need time, and I think a lot of the times when we're out on trails, because of the nature of how we're always broke, and then we go to an event and then we're always broke again. I don't have a lot of time to get used to flying the drone. So, and I don't
practice
get
time for you.
Practice time, and I don't get a lot of time to just sit around and do it. So I really appreciate how these people who are really good at it, because it's not my.
And your drone videos are awesome.
Yeah, it's not my skill set.
Thank you. Yeah, I gotta get to the point where I'm like Ed.
Ed's incredible.
Yeah,
this guy.
I don't even know his drone is up.
There's gonna be like 3 of them.
And I'm like, what?
Pretty
he'll catch it outside of his car, and he
Then you see him get out and set up his tripod with his GoPro on it. Yeah,
he's got 2 or 3 angles of everything.
Yeah,
it was amazing to watch. It's the spider monkey on the rocks.
Yeah, but it's gotten to be more inconvenient for people. I started getting people complaining that okay, stop! I got to get the drone up. Get the drone up. You fly it, and then you're doing your thing, and then next thing you know, you get the alert battery is going. So now you got to get on the radio, get everybody to stop, got to land the drone. And it was cool at first. I think a lot of my friends and people thought it was cool because when I made my videos, they would be in it. But then after time goes by, drones are kind of, it seems to me that drones, the excitement for the drones is fading. Was when they first came out, everybody had a drone. Everybody was getting a drone. But then it started becoming an inconvenience on the trail for people. Like, oh man, we got to stop again. Oh, that. So I try not to pull it out as much unless it's just Petra and I, or maybe a few other people, but not in big groups anymore.
Yeah.
Or if you're stopped for a long time. Like there's certain times when you know that you're going to be stopped for a while. Maybe you're stopped for lunch or you're stopped for whatever. Those are usually when we would chuck the drone out. But we felt the same way. Like, we wanted to learn how to do it, but we also don't want to be the inconvenience on the trail.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the only reason I was, when we were out together, when I was out with Pope and Randy, I was doing the drone, and I would launch it while we were moving. And I would, at the most, I would say just stop for 10 seconds so I can get the drone to land and then be done with it. And
but
just
you're
try
also
not to get in the way.
You weren't driving too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, you weren't driving. So it's like you could spend all the time in the world doing crap. Well, as long as everybody keeps moving, you know what I mean? So it's different when you're a passenger, I think.
Yeah.
But I agree with you, Mike. I think that the drone video, especially for us, you know, like on Sand Mountain, the drone's going to give you some different perspectives if you've never seen them before. But after a minute, it just kind of becomes, okay, I've seen that now. Like, at this point, let's get back to it being about the obstacles and stuff like that. Here in Colorado, though, I think it really gives you an opportunity to just see stuff that you wouldn't see normally, or at least see from a different perspective. And
Sand
Hackett
Mountain
is a perfect.
Sand Mountain has 2 views.
Yeah, exactly.
and then the rest of it is.
And it's all gorgeous. Don't get me wrong. It's all pretty, and it's like you're on Mars and a different planet. But I'm only going to be able to drone that like twice, maybe 3 times before getting footage out there is not going to be fun anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I think, you know, especially places like Colorado and San Juan's and here, even here in our backyard, places like Hackett, where there's burn area where it's just such a different perspective. And I don't think people get a appreciation for that until you get up in the air and kind of see it from something else other than eye level.
That's true.
Did you drones before at all for photography, or was it just after you got the Jeeps?
No, actually, the first drone I got was during our boating days. I used to be a boater. Me and my ex-wife, we started boating back in 2006 when the kids were young, and we were looking for something to do, you know, fun as a family. So
you picked boating in a landlocked state.
Yeah, and we did that, and then my ex and I got divorced. We had to sell the boat that we had, and then, you know, and then I got with Petra, and we still had friends with boats. So when I first started dating Petra, we'd go with our friends out on the boat, and she really enjoyed that. So we went and got a boat. So we continued. I continued that, and she enjoyed it. But then it got to the point when I met her, she had the Toyota. So we didn't really do any wheeling. We just went to the mountains, right? And we started doing that more, and we do that more because, I mean, you're in Colorado. There's just so many places you can go that I never even knew what that was out there until Petra. You know, here she is from Germany, and she's been all over the state. She knows more about the areas than I do. I mean, places I've never seen. So
that's awesome.
When she decided, she wanted to get a Jeep, that was when we sold the boat. So, but when we were boating, we were sitting in a cove with a bunch of people, and this guy had this drone, and this is when the DJI Mavic Pro came out, the first Mavic Pro, and I'd never seen one before, and I was really intrigued. He's just flying around the boats and taking pictures, and I'm just locked on it, and I'm just like, I want that. And so I went and got the Mavic Pro, and so we started doing a lot of videos on the lake, having to put it in follow me mode, do the video, and then I'd make some videos and put them on my Facebook or YouTube or whatever, and then we got the Jeep, and that was that was another level. Just now you're up in the mountains where a lot of people don't go. Like you were talking San Juan's, you know, a lot of people here, like Craig, I think Craig's never been past Rampart Range Road.
Yeah.
So
I know he's really started to explore more, and like that's the thing about Colorado is you know, Trails Off Road has a number of trails that I've mapped and others have mapped and things like that, but there's thousands of roads. There's so many places to get away from people out here, and it's a fun thing to explore. It's really it's awesome to be this close to it, just to spend a couple hours on a weekend going someplace and then checking out those places that people don't get to see.
Yeah.
Fantastic. What are you, so we didn't really talk what your build was, though. We talked the blue Jeep. What's your build kind of specs, high level?
Yeah. Well, when we had it lifted, we went with the Fabtech 3-inch long arm kit. What else? That was pretty much it. And the 35-inch tires. That was the first thing that was done to it. And then we started wheeling around and meeting people and getting some other ideas. And one of the next mods was, RCV axle shafts. We wanted to build this thing. So we did that. And then next thing you know, we're pulling a little camper with it. And we wanted to get more torque from it. So went to 513 gears to help pull that camper. And of course, when we got the bumpers and that's
just slowly starts adding up until you're almost bankrupt.
Yeah.
What was your thought process of why you started with the RCV axle shafts?
Yeah,
why wasn't that a later thing? Why was that first?
Did you break something?
I didn't break anything at that point. So when we were going to take the Jeep to Moab for the first time, I wanted to make sure. I've heard of stories, people breaking their axles out of U-joints or
yeah.
So we started thinking about that, and then there's a shop in town that we use, and we were talking about how to make stronger, and they recommended the RCV axle shafts. So we did that right before that trip, and we also upgraded the drive shafts too.
All right,
that's just really quick to do. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of things.
Yeah,
and now you've been wheeling for a long time now.
Yeah,
and like RCVs is usually something that people go to way down the road.
Yeah.
when they've broken something.
Yeah, for example, Randy and I are running tons and we're still using U-joints.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, let me tell you, those RCV axle shafts, they do come with responsibility because you do have to maintain those things and grease them. I've already had to rebuild them twice. And I just think it's a lack of lubricating, but I try to be anal and lubricate those things before each trip. And I know the dirt and water, that it doesn't help, but
right.
And I have, in fact, broke the driver front RCV axle shaft on Holy Cross.
Oh.
So, but it was weird because I think the damage was already done. The first obstacle, I don't know if you guys aren't really familiar with Holy Cross, are you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is something you guys would like out here.
It would. Holy Cross.
That's definitely one of the trails that's on our list that we want to do.
So the first obstacle we came to is called, it was like a wall, and it wasn't that steep. So I tried climbing it without using lockers. And I was like, oh, okay, I need lockers. As soon as I put the lockers on and I start climbing, and I was going slow, I hear this snap. And that's when we found it was that RCV axle shaft just split. It didn't split clean in half. It split lengthwise.
Wow.
It was like this long of a piece on the top or whatever on that shaft that just split off.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. So
wow.
Ended up driving it back to our camp. In the process, tore up the carrier.
Front gears. Yeah.
Yeah. Tore up the gears were okay. It was the bearing on the outside of that carrier. We destroyed it, limping it back to the camp. So we take it when we get back home, we were going to go, we were talking to the shop about replacing the axle, and they put us in line for a Dynatrac Pro Rock 44. Well, it was during COVID. There was none available. So
yeah,
they said, we don't know when it's going to come in. Same with Terraflex. I mean, that was another option. And at the point, we just kind of got tired of waiting. I called 4 Wheel Parts, and they had the Ultimate 44 in stock. So we went with the Ultimate 44. I mean, I really wanted the Pro Rock, but we ended up getting that Dana 44, Ultimate 44, which is stronger than factory. But
yeah, it is.
It is. So
yeah,
that's where. But the thing is, when it was in the shop at 4 Wheel Parts getting that in, that other shop called and said, hey, your Dynatrac axle came in.
Oh.
Isn't that like...
It was too late. So
yeah, that's how it goes though.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I just looked up where RCV axles are. Their contact is Rockford, Illinois. So if that's where they make them, they should be able to handle dirt and salt and the rest of that crap. I'm from the Midwest.
You'd think. You would think. I mean, you got that boot that just kind of covers the the 6 ball bearings that go in there. And so, I mean, water's it's still going to get in there. You're still going to get moisture in there. You're still going to get, especially at Sand Hollow, you're going to get sand. Because
a lot of the guys in Sand Hollow don't grease theirs.
I know.
Other than the first time, because they get sand in there, and the sand gets worse with more grease you have.
And you hear
they just run
too.
a minimal amount. Yeah, you hear them go click, 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 click.
Yep.
But they'll run like that for years because if they put grease in it, it'll actually get worse. Sand will
Well, that makes sense. Yeah, because I noticed that when I greased them before Trail Hero. Yeah, I was looking at those like, geez, look at all that sand on there.
Yeah, maybe that's grease when you get home.
Yeah.
Now that you've changed axles, you still have the RCVs?
Yep. And I still have the that axle from the Ultimate 44 came with the chromoly Dana Spicer axles too, so I still have those as a backup.
Yeah, and I think it's just funny. Like it's not the first thing that you upgrade. It's just not the first thing you go for.
No,
but that's
usually you get a light bar first. I'm so surprised.
Well, here's the thing, Mike. The reason why I asked that question, because we've talked to a number of people, and we always talk about the fact that a lot of folks tend to either overbuild or build in the wrong direction first. And so you do a few things and then you end up backtracking, or in my case, I had to sell an entire Jeep because it was just going to be cheaper than trying to just strip it of all the stuff I had done to make it a rock crawler I didn't want. So it's nice to hear that you're one of those folks that just kind of stepped up. I thought I needed something stronger here, and I went here, and then I went here, and I did this, and I added the bigger tires, and yeah, that's a great stepping stone.
I just asking a lot of questions at the off-road shop, and they were a big help. Though I'll probably never see the 60s or 80s, I'm going to have to live with what I got for now.
Here's the thing. We have talked about this. Are you still running 35s or are you running bigger?
No, I'm 37s now.
He's running 37s.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he wheels with us a lot. He wheels the shit out of those 37s.
You do. You wheel harder than I do, sir.
He can't do all of the stuff that we can do, but he can do a vast majority of it, and I'm sure it's everything he wants to do. I'm not really sure what
you haven't done that we've done.
I was gonna say you will try it.
I will try it.
He will try it, and the main difference is like something we can point and shoot at.
He has to work a lot harder than we do.
Yeah.
He has to work harder than us, but he can do it.
But that working is actually hard on the mechanics of the vehicle too. So that's the con of it. Yes, he can, but he's beating up the rig a little more than we are.
Yep.
The other side of it is he didn't have to spend $25,000 on axles. He's getting the job done with much less investment.
Well,
yeah, I always wonder how much of that is you actually being nice about that, and then the other part of it's just like you guys and your cute little tires. You're fun.
No, I loved my 37.
I know.
I actually there was a big part of me that I felt like I could do everything everybody on 40s was doing on my 37s.
Yeah.
I did have to work harder for it. It was really hard to go to 40s in some way because I was but there was trails that I wanted to do that were stupider that I felt like if I didn't have, I felt like I was kind of leveling up at a certain place where I wanted to try dumber things. And
I get it.
It was
no, and I'm just
there was a lot of yin and yang. I was back and forth. I almost didn't.
Yeah, but you see the same thing. If the hardest trail we've done is the Fallen, well, it's not hard. I've done harder than the Fallen. I did Twister and stuff and some more. But the Fallen is Mike's done that Fallen. Mike's done Papa Smart with us. He's done
He's done
all of the
Fallen is Mike's nemesis now. I do believe.
Yes, it is.
I will never do the crack. I'm done with crack.
Yeah.
No more crack. No more crack for Mike. All right.
I was saying I wasn't going to do the crack, and then Chuck told me that this thing I did last week was worse than the crack, and I'm like, no, the crack's still scarier to me.
Yeah.
It's the entrance.
It's the entrance. But I think so. There's a lot to be said about wheel what you have and make the most out of what you have. You don't have to be like Pope and Randy and be stupid and build your Jeep 6 times because you didn't build it right the first time.
Well, you guys jumped in so head first into everything. That's that's a whole different level of respect that I have for you on that one. It's just different. It's just coming from a different side of it. Like, I think Mike and I have been like the slow builders, and you guys are on the other end of it, where you just kind of went balls to the wall, and it's awesome. I for a whole host of reasons, I didn't do it that way. So.
Too stupid to stop. That's our
Too
problem.
stupid to stop.
Yeah,
that's our theme.
We learned.
It's a 2025 theme.
We've just been participating in this sport a lot, and the way that we drive, we need bigger wheels, bigger tires.
That's fair. Yeah. No,
it compensates for the bad driving. Like it compensates for all the problems that we have.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Look at Ed on his 35s and his.
I know he's a freaking badass.
At 30, at 35 psi too, right?
Yeah, he's not really doing that, but
No, I know.
But the funny thing about it is, I would take Ed and I would take Mike on all the same trails and I'd let them try everything we're trying. Yeah. Because they're, I feel like they can do it. You don't have to put it all in there. If you know how to wheel, these guys are wheelmen. So
I'm pretty impressed with Ed. He wheels that thing, and I haven't seen him break anything yet.
I haven't either.
It's so shiny for how stupid he is. Like, I don't know how he keeps that thing together. Like, people don't understand. Like, he wheels in like Johnson Valley, all the different places. Anyway, he shocks me every single time. He scares the crap out of me every single time because he is nuts. How he's not landed on his lid is far beyond my comprehension. Mm-hmm. But
I mean, there's people that make you change your mind about, like, these are the rules for this trail. You must have 40s. You must have hydro assist. Mm-hmm. And like, you go look at Aaron Mercer. His LJ's on 37s, and he just
barely got hydro assist.
He just barely got hydro assist, and he's been doing the same things as Chuck Converse on 42s. So, like, you gotta, there's something to be said about it. If you these guys are wheelmen. They know how to drive. That's my point I'm trying to make, is Mike knows how to drive.
Thanks, Pope. I owe it all to Steven. Steven built me. Sand Hollow built me. And I owe it all to Steven. So
Sand Hollow builds a lot of people. Yeah. Like, Sand Hollow teaches you a lot of things.
I didn't know how to do anything wheeling wise until into Sand Hollow. That place woke me up, humbled me, and
I tell you, driving Steven's Jeep that last week, 777's a good example. I've driven that in my Jeep, and then I drove that in his Jeep. What a night and day difference.
Yeah.
Night and day difference.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a beast. He's got a beast of a machine. But it makes it like it's like cheater code.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think is TrlFnder your daily driver, Mike?
No.
Okay, so and I think if I was there too, if my Jeep wasn't my daily driver too, I'd probably be a little more willing to do some more risky stuff with it. And at some point it won't be. And then when that day comes, I'm not telling my wife. I'm just not, because I'm just going to come out to Sand Hollow and I'm going to do some crazy shit with it, and then I'm not going to worry about it. And hopefully I don't have to call Mike to get him in his trailer.
You just bring your Jeep there on a trailer in the first place, and then you've already got a little bit more freedom.
I don't think I should jinx myself out. I should at least hope that I can drive it home myself. Yeah.
What you need to do is stretch it and put some 37 on it.
See? Listen to this guy.
I mean, listen to him. He's totally right.
I'm not going to stretch it, but I may stretch and go to 37th at some point. That's not off the list. We'll see. Okay. We'll see how that goes. So what happened, real quick? We should talk about this. What happened on the Fallen, man? You want to talk about it, or do you want to act like it didn't exist?
No. It happened. I just had a bad spotter.
Okay. And that happens.
Yeah. And I got a little anxious because I was getting a little cocky and confident. And so I got on. I was watching everybody else do it, and there was a guy spotting people through. And he got people. Everybody else was getting up. So I got a little confident, right? And feeling good about it. But
back tire.
It was that back tire. They did not.
Back passenger gets everybody.
Yep. That's what'll get anyone who falls in on that, is that tire.
You really don't even have to spot them on any other tire other than that back passenger tire if you don't pay attention.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ouch.
And that right there was a $3,600 oopsie.
I'm surprised you
Glad it
got
was
out of
only
there at
that
that
much.
price. Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Because that could have fucked up the whole side of your Jeep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, it did ruin my axle shafts. I don't know if it was particular from that trail. I think it was either from the Z-turn or the Wall of Doom. All my wheel studs were bent in different directions.
No.
And the splines were twisted.
Yeah. So that's
I did,
where those Dana 60s come in handy.
Yeah. Yeah. So I did have to spend $500 on some Revolution gear and axle shafts for the rear.
Okay.
Yep. And I bent the
All right.
the
drive
problem
shaft.
with Sand Hollow is it gives you a lot of confidence, and then you do stupider things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my fear, Randy. That's my significant fear. Like to the next time I go out there, I know I'm going to do harder stuff than I did with my
Right.
Jeep the last time. And then each time that I go out there, I just know I'm going to crank it up. And so the number of times I come out there is going to be directly proportional to the stupidity that I make. That's essentially what I'm saying.
We'll get you out here on some level 10s next time you're out.
No,
I know you will.
Need to get him. I need him on a few like level 6s and 7s first, and then
I'm gonna trust Randy at least at the start. So we'll go.
he's
Well,
never
it's all
done
right,
double
man.
Sammy. Like double Sammy
Yeah.
is just classic. You have to do double Sammy if you're going to go to Sam.
Double Sammy.
I now feel like the only person who hasn't done it.
You should have done double Sammy when you were there last time.
I know. I'm mad that we didn't.
Because the sand blew over lots of the cool obstacles. It was different trail this time.
It'll be gone by the time we go back there next. It'll be fine.
Probably.
So, all right. Well, and Mike, I didn't bring that up to like shame you or anything like that. Like
there's no shame.
we showed all of my failures in Trail Hero this year, or damn near failures. Like those could have been real bad, and everybody has their moments.
Yeah.
And $3,600 is no big deal, quite frankly.
And it's a matter of when, not if, when you're doing this stuff at this level. If you're touching
Correct.
those 8s and 9 trails, it's not if anymore, it's when.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That does. I feel like we do need to do a whole show about spotting sometime, though. It's something
should.
that's really
I
a
have a lot
thing
of
that has come
opinions
to.
about that too. Like I feel like
I know you do.
I do. I have a lot of feelings about spotting. I don't think it's the spotter's fault if you're trusting that person. Like I mean,
Whoa. On the crack, that is not his fault. You have to get that tire in the right position. And there's no way for you to know from sitting in the front of your Jeep if that back tire's in the right spot.
right? But there's a lot of opinions. Anyway, we can have a whole conversation about spotting.
Mike, we'll have you on for that show. I think you have a
Yeah.
unique opinion to share with it.
I think you'll
Well, I
need
think that there's times when you need to know where your tires are, and they need to be able to, like, the person spotting the crack should be watching your back passenger tire. They shouldn't even care about any of your other tires because you can see your driver tire, you can see like certain things, but it's that back passenger. But I also think,
But you should be there. There is an extent of you. So you've got a spotter telling you to go forward, right? But if you didn't have the spotter and your tire started to come up just that little tiny amount that it was coming up, you might have backed out and said, "Okay, that's not good. Let me go forward." But it's just like there's like one with a lot of seat time, you're able to do that. Without the seat time, you're relying on the spotter. And that's kind of another opinion in and of itself. You know, how much of these things can you do without being spotted? And can you feel it out in your Jeep yourself is what I really mean. Can you feel it out? Do you know your vehicle so well that you can do that? A, do you know the line? And B, do you know what your vehicle's going to do? That could be your own fault. But then, like, when you're going in there, there's a guy helping you. I think you got to be trusting the guy that's helping you. And sometimes your vehicle is going to freak out, but there's a hefty balance. Yeah, he wasn't watching the back rear tire. Clearly he wasn't.
I feel like in a situation like Trail Hero and in the rest of those kinds of things, we are often presented in situations where we are getting spotted by people we're unfamiliar with or who are unfamiliar with us, and that adds a whole different layer of complication to it. And so we'll do a whole show about it sometime. We'll have you back.
What does Steven say? If you make the obstacle, it's the spotter. If you don't make the obstacle, it's the driver.
I feel like Tim from Dratz said something similar to that when we were talking to him about that. Yeah. Okay. All right. But it's again, I don't bring it up to make fun or anything. It's something that happens to all of us, and that just happened to be year one. And I mean, mine cost me a lot more, and it's part of the reason we started this show, because I had so much downtime.
I've got like probably 10 or 15 embarrassing moments. So I think we're all like...
That was just last
Randy's
week.
went viral.
Yeah, last week. Well, my biggest went stupid viral, and there's several videos out there on the internet. So
yeah.
But we're all learning, and that's the thing is that like I don't really judge anybody by like anything. Like we're all there learning, and we're growing, and we're literally like we're playing a game of inches.
Yeah. And
we're playing like we're dancing on rocks. Like I love that it feels like Jem is like dancing on rocks. Like she's literally, but she up just a centimeter sometimes. And I'm on my side. Like, it's not like how many times. It's not like have I flopped. It's how many times have I flopped. Like,
and it becomes right, and it becomes a statistical thing, right? Like if you drive X number of miles per year, you're eventually going to have a car accident. If you drive a certain number of miles off road or a certain amount of wheel time off road, you're going to have an incident. You're going to have something that costs you money and maybe is a little bit injury. Yeah. So just be careful.
It's just definitely, we are playing a game of inches, and we're towing a line, and we're trying, like we're getting hard. We're trying and testing ourselves harder and harder and harder. And the more you test yourself, the more likely you're going to fail, because you're going to get into those situations.
Have you, Mike, have you had any, like the Fallen obviously is a lower moment. Did you have a bigger moment at Trail Hero that you felt was like awesome, like at the other end of that spectrum? Because I happen to know that you, at least on one incident, you were told not to shake the wheel to the left and the right, and yet the wheel went to the left and the right somehow.
The wall of doom.
The wall of doom.
Yep.
I'm trying to find that video now to see if I can pull it up here. That was fun. That was fun to watch. But man, it was a little scary. Was that your hero moment of Trail Hero?
It was. And the funny, they tell me not to go left to right or whatever I was doing. Well, the thing is I could feel the Jeep wanting to go to the right. And so I would correct it by turning the wheel to the left. Well, then I felt like I was getting too far left. So I'd go back to the right. So that's how that happened.
Here, let's see it.
Yeah.
Little driver, right there. Go from there, go.
Well,
it's spicy.
It got spicy.
Gives me agita every time I watch it.
Yeah, but he kept on it. The thing is that obstacle, you have to keep on that obstacle, or you're gonna go back. Like you.
Yep.
Like he can't jam on his brakes.
That second hop, man.
Yeah. It's the second. Yeah, that's the one that makes my stomach drop out a little bit. Yeah. But yeah, like that's the thing though. You committed to it. You were gonna see it through. Did it.
This is like. That is. Yeah. Wow.
See, I felt like
the thing is, you have to keep going, and I think that you were right in your decision though, because if you were to get let off and not keep going, you're going backwards, and that's so steep that you have especially that velocity, you have a high chance of flipping over back on your lid.
Right.
Yeah. He had too much momentum. You would have flipped back.
Staying committed was the right thing.
Yeah, and that's the only reason I did that obstacle is because Aaron Squatch was spotting. That was the only reason why I did it.
And the only reason I give you crap about it is because he was the person I was talking to when you got done with it, saying, you say to him, don't go left to right? Yeah. I mean, obviously things happen in the moment, but you held it, man. Like that's impressive. That's one of those moments where you're just like, the only thing that can get you to do the right thing in that moment is knowing your vehicle, knowing how it's responding, and then responding in kind. That's the only reason I didn't flip when I was with you, and the reason I didn't flip when I was in the wrong spot.
Too much gas right there. The rear lockers would have caused the vehicle to go flop, flop. Yep. So it's just like you just knew exactly what to do.
Yeah,
it was close.
Good calls.
I did have the lockers on.
You did?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Okay. Like if you when you're vertical like that or getting like that, your rear lockers are moving your vehicle one way.
Yeah.
And eventually it starts causing the vehicle to flip over when the rest of it's not
If it's too much
anymore.
momentum.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've learned when Aaron says go, that means
Go.
put your pedal to the floor.
Yeah.
He was one of the, I'd never met Aaron before, like that trail that I ran with you guys, and that was just fun. It was a whole lot of that. That whole day was, especially. I mean, after we had a great time just kind of running around West Rim in the playground area, but even just that last part of the day was just hilarious to watch. So, because I wasn't doing the Wall of Doom with my 35s.
No.
And I didn't do the Wall of Doom that day for some reason.
I don't even know if you guys were there. Were you?
Maybe.
No,
they
we
weren't
weren't there.
No, we
We
weren't there. Yeah.
No.
The first time I did Wall of Doom was over Christmas break, and I learned that gladiators don't need to use any gas on it.
No.
He didn't even touch the gas pedal. It just went boop.
Yeah, I watched a lot of gladiators cheat on this particular obstacle too. Yeah, it was just kind of
how
how
a lot of gladiators use gas on it. It's not neat. Well, I'm trying to understand how come Josie couldn't just crawl it the way that I crawled it.
She was off to the path. She was a little too far driver.
Oh, she was on the wrong line.
Yeah, she was on the wrong line. She was a little farther driver.
Yeah, because like I was able to just walk it over.
Well,
I got drone
Speaking
video
of-
of you, Pope.
Oh, you do?
Oh, do you?
Sweet.
Yep.
Okay.
Look, this is my opinion about spotting. The thing is that I trust Aaron Squatch very, very much.
Mm-hmm.
Very much. He's one of my favorite spotters. I love to work. He is my first flop. So it can happen to anything and anybody at any time.
And the other Aaron
Right.
is the second flop.
And Aaron is, well, the other Aaron gets me into trouble all the time. Like, he's just trouble.
He seems like a bad influence in general, so I get that.
He's
yeah,
a bad influence, but I trust him with all my heart. He's not going to put me in a bad situation, but at the same time, like, my driving skill might put me in a bad situation. He's going to do everything in his power to keep me safe.
Yeah.
It's my problem when I f up, because usually Aaron puts me in really sketchy situations because he thinks that I can handle it. And that's kind of what happens. But
Mostly?
I'm just laughing because Aaron Squatch on the rocks, Aaron. He's amazing, but he was my first flop. And I said out the window, I've never been this off camber on this obstacle before. Are you sure? And he's like, yeah, keep moving forward. It's the Instagram line. And guess what? I went, boop.
When was that? I don't remember that.
Trail Hero, like 3 years ago.
Oh, I wasn't there 3 years. Well, yeah, 20.
No, but it was like it was my very first flop. Like, we've had lots of naps. Like, let's be real.
2022 or 2023?
But yeah, it was like 2022 probably.
Yeah,
That was
2022.
because that was my first time out there, and that's when I first met you guys. So I really didn't know you guys that well, and I don't remember wheeling with you a whole lot. So
We didn't know what we were doing. It's fine.
We were. Yeah. We still don't know what we're doing.
None
We're
of us
just
know
out
what
there
we're
doing
doing.
it. We don't know what we're doing.
Let's
Like,
just go ahead and be
real.
honest with our audience right now. None of us know what we're doing. We're all just guessing.
Especially
we're out here
3
making
years ago.
educated
If you
guesses.
were watching us 3 years ago, thinking, "Oh my gosh, these guys are cool," we were like posers back then.
Yeah.
We're still posers. Still posers.
Now
Still
you have a
posers.
disclaimer that plays before the episode that shows and says that we are. So
Yeah.
you're good. So what else is on your upgrade list then? Do you feel like you're at a good place with TrlFnder, or are you going to do something else to it?
PSC.
PSC?
Yeah, I think I've
Okay.
almost
That
got-
is what you need. If you had PSC, you could, like, if I were to tell you one thing that you need on your build, and that's the only thing that you need.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then you'll be like, "Holy shit! This is how the other half lives.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is what I've been missing out on this whole time."
It was the Fallen, actually. When I was on the Fallen is when
The
I
Fallen
got off
broke
the
Randy's
trail,
steer-
and I
Randy's
got off the trail, and
steering.
my steering wheel was upside down. And I was like, okay, if this is where I'm going to be,
That was Z turn.
if this is the stuff that I'm going to do, I have to have PSC.
Yeah.
And
That Z
but
turn that
it's-
Trail Hero really. That's when I
Yeah.
told Petra we got.
Is that what made you like, all right, this is now a priority for me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that Randy's done that on 37s without a PSC.
I have.
It was really difficult.
it was hard. And that was the day that I came off the trail and went, okay, it has to happen.
So Mike, I got a couple silly-ish questions left for you.
Okay.
What is the one thing to a new wheeler that they shouldn't live without?
A winch.
A winch?
Yeah.
A winch.
Okay.
I mean, it's one of those things that you don't use it that much, but it's there when you need it. But it's because most cases, people without a winch, they come to a point where they need it and they don't have it.
But then they have friends that have one too, though. Hopefully.
Think about Colorado wheeling. It's a little different than what we do.
I think that's where Mike's coming from on this one. Like, I think you're coming from this as a Colorado wheeler. Like, I think that's one of the, it's like you're told here when you start wheeling. In fact, it's something I preach to people. Like, one of the first things you need here is a winch, because you need to be able to get yourself out of a bad situation, even if you don't have people with you. And like, because I don't imagine a winch is doing you a whole lot of good in Sand Hollow, Mike, is it?
Well, I use it every time I'm in
But
Sand Hollow.
you're attached to another Jeep, though.
Yeah.
All right, I'll give you that one. Yeah.
Or kinetic.
We use
rope.
our winches
We use
winches at least once a trip, if not multiple times.
But usually we're anchored to another Jeep. There's not like a rock or something we can anchor to, because we'll just pull the rock down the hill.
Yeah, I mean, I really think recovery gear. I mean, you still hear these stories, JD, here in Colorado. These people, when the snow hits, they go wheeling, and it's always one vehicle, one person, with a passenger. They go get stuck. They don't have a
usually
winch.
with kids. Uh-huh.
They can't get themselves out now. Now they got to get a hold of somebody to come rescue them, or call out a 4x4 rescue and recovery. They might not be able to get out there until the next day, or 2 days, or 3 days. Depends, because they're pretty busy during this when it's snowing.
How long did it take them to get to Craig? Like 3 days?
2 days.
2 days.
2 days.
Yeah. But it was a total, when we got there, it was like just over 5 hours of recovery and then getting his Jeep started. So,
yeah. And just for those of you listening, that we're referring to the Fergie JKU recovery and his flop that they had on Chinaman's a couple weeks ago, just before the start of the new year.
Yep.
Yeah. And that was Mike was on that trip the weekend before. Yeah. And Mike was on that trip, and Craig had a kind of a slow roll and a situation where he just kind of slid off to the side of the trail, and he's good and off the trail now, and Jeep runs and it's getting some work done to it. So
yeah,
it's coming back.
It's currently at the Off-Road Affairs garage getting everything fixed.
Oh, wow. Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
That's just Tom's personal garage.
Yeah.
The Off-Road Affairs, the Instagram account.
Yep. He had a top. He had the top for him. He had the door. He had the windshield frame, and the door and the windshield frame are red, so he doesn't have to get them painted. And then,
that's fantastic.
And then they're going to fix his cage. So
that's awesome.
That's cool. That's great. Yeah, I was. It was really hard when I heard that happened, and I was just like, it was good to know that the damage wasn't terrible. Yeah. And
Fergie a JK.
Yeah.
JK. Yeah. Yep. So, and we're gonna actually talk to him soon. Your episodes are gonna air near each other, so we'll talk about his role at that time too. So he said it wasn't off the table, so we're gonna chat about it.
Did you see the YouTube video that they just posted yesterday? Or day before?
Yesterday? No.
Day before?
I did not see that.
The recovery?
I saw that one, yeah. I did. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they did an amazing job. That's Colorado 4x4 Rescue and Recovery. Obviously, Craig was able to get off the trail, and then Mike was with them, and then they came back a couple days later with a crew that did a lot of amazing geometry and winching work and got that Jeep up with a minimal amount of damage to put it back on four wheels. So
right, they got it started, it was impressive again, to watch,
which shocked me.
Which was the big deal. 100%, right? Like Craig.
Well, the thing is,
just turn that off right away.
If you do it right, which these guys must have done, you gotta, then it won't blow up.
Yeah.
Right.
If you do it, if you try to start it before the oil's emptied out of the motor, like we did twice.
Yeah.
Then your
I'm like, don't start that shit till you get it back. Like I even told Fergie that I was like, do not start it on the trail. It's like we pulled the plug.
But those guys pulled the plugs, which is what you're supposed to do. Yeah. It's actually really hard to do in the 3.6 out on the trail. So those guys being able to do that is kind of nice.
Yeah.
And kudos to you, Mike, for being the trailer that got him home. So, and that's why you do. If you're going to go wheeling in the winter, it's not my thing. There's a couple of other people I talked to on Instagram recently who have talked about their first experiences wheeling in the snow and how that ended in a accident of some kind. If you're going to go, make sure you go with people. It's the most dangerous time of the year to wheel anywhere. Yeah. Because it's colder. There's ice. There's snow. Just be careful if you go out, and make sure that you got backup plans. Make sure you got enough stuff with you to keep yourself safe. Yeah. Craig had all the stuff, and he did all the right things when it happened. So his Jeep is home, and we'll see it back soon. All right. So last dumb question for you, Mike. What's your favorite trail, bud?
My favorite trail?
Out of Sand Mountain and Colorado and all the crap that you've done in between and the years now that you've been wheeling, what's your favorite one out of all of those?
My favorite one, I think, so far is Wheeler Lake.
Okay.
Wheeler Lake is...
Is it like one of the first ones you did, or is it just because you like the...
It is one of the first ones, but I just love... It's not that technical. I mean, it's got some technical spots on it, but it's just such a beautiful trail. And then the entrance, when you're just driving through that little mine, it's called the Magnolia Mine. Mm-hmm. You just drive up underneath it, and you hit an obstacle, and it's just so scenic. And you get to the top, you have lunch, you got the lake there. People bring their fishing poles, they go fishing. I mean, I just love that trail. So that's my favorite trail.
Was that in Colorado?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in Buena Vista. And it was, I did that one with a group at All for Fun. And I think the nice part about it is that the obstacle is like the main obstacle is right there after the mine, right? Yep. So you kind of get that out of the way. Mm-hmm. The rest of it is bumpy. Like, don't get me wrong, Wheeler Lake will just beat the hell out of you to the end. But that's the last real obstacle that you have. And so you get all that beauty of the San Juan's area, but kind of with a little bit of an obstacle at the beginning.
Yeah. That's near Breckenridge, outside of Alma.
Okay.
Or Almont or whatever.
Alma. Yeah. It's Alma.
It's
Alma.
Alma.
I think that's it. Yeah. We had to drive like 45 minutes from camp to get to it. So, yeah. It's gorgeous, though. That whole area is gorgeous. So,
is there any trails that you are on that are on your list? Like, is there something on your bucket list you want to hit that you haven't yet?
I don't have a particular trail, but I would like to go. I hear there's some good trails out in Grand Junction.
Okay, there are, yeah.
I know it. There's 21 Road, and it's another one. I can't remember the name of it, but
it's Billings something.
Billings,
I think.
Yeah. I heard that one's pretty rough though.
Billings Canyon, maybe, yeah.
But I want to go in that. I want to get out that area and wheel that area.
Okay. Have you did Rubicon?
No, that's on my bucket list.
That should be on your bucket list. That's I love that trail.
Yeah, Pope and Randy have now been harassing me since they went, and I feel like I have to add it to my schedule at some point.
It's
so
maybe we all
gonna have to get a second job so you can have more vacation time. I think that's how that works.
I just need, I needed the Starlink and then get the fake background behind me so I can just make it look like I'm at the office. What'd you say, Mike?
The Starlink part. Now you just need.
Okay. I was gonna say maybe that's one of the things we need to plan. Maybe 2026 or something.
Let's talk about that off air. I think let's plan, because that would be something I could do next year. Yeah. Okay. We'll talk about that. Yeah. That'd be fantastic.
Rent yourself a truck and a trailer.
Whatever I got to do to get there at that point. Yeah. Exactly. I don't care. I'll leave Jen in California while I go do that. she won't do the Rubicon with me.
Hard. It's just so pretty, and it's like a constant rock garden, and I love that. Like, it's just like you have to be thinking the whole time, but it's not hard. But I just think you would love like the scenic. It's so scenic, but so fun and so technical. And I think that I could see you just that being one of your favorite trails. Yeah, I just see you loving that trail.
I think Petra would love it too, because you know what? She wasn't happy about going to Trail Hero this year again.
Oh, really?
She's done with it, and I was able to talk her into it, doing it again this year. So,
were you by yourself at Winter 4x4?
Yeah. I rode out there with Steven. Okay. I towed Steven's Jeep out there for him, and I just wanted to be a passenger, but I was also helping him because he was guiding trails. So I would drive his Jeep on the trails while he's spotting people up through obstacles. Just made it easier because I could move up his Jeep and get in front of the next obstacle or get up further so all the other Jeeps could move out of the way. And then when he's done spotting, or the mid can get up there and help. And then the tail, or the tail. So it flowed so much nicer, and it was very efficient. So
definitely.
Plus I got to drive Steven's Jeep, and I got to do some good obstacles and see what it's like to be on his build. And it just a night and day difference. I loved it.
I fear, like I said a couple times now, like I fear that the more times I go out there, the more time I spend on that mountain in general, the more I'm going to get addicted to that rock crawling aspect of things, rather than just kind of the scenic and the bumpy roads that I tend to like. And it scares me a little bit. It scares my bank account.
Well,
it definitely should scare your bank account.
It should scare your bank account.
Yeah, I mean, it's the best. If you do in the mountains and you go to Sand Hollow and do that, and it's like the best of both worlds.
I just think you need to make that a goal to get to Rubicon, because I think it would itch both of your things. Like Petra would. I mean, does she like to shower in waterfalls?
Oh God, yes.
I mean, does she like gorgeousness?
Yes.
Like, it is like the coolest. I'm just kidding. It's just absolutely wonderful. I just feel like you guys belong out there to go at least once.
Yep, that's what I said. Planet 2026.
I feel a group trip coming on. All right. Well, I feel like we've, as I tell everybody, I feel like we've taken up enough of your time at this point. Is there anything that, while you have the hot mic here in the moment, that you feel like you want people to know about you or off-roading or anything?
Boy, you should have asked me that question ahead of time, so I could have been prepared. I can't.
No, it's way more fun to make you sweat in the moment. Yeah. I can always cut out the pauses later too.
I don't know. I think, we're all in this for the fun. A lot of us have this in common, and I hate how people, you got different cliques, right? And there's guys out there that love to give the smaller guys a hard time. I think that people need to be more humble, and I think more willing to support people and share things. And I don't know. That's just my only thought. And I'm not talking about anybody in particular. I'd like to see more of that, because there are a lot of, I've run into some egos,
Yeah.
I'm not a big wheeler. I don't consider myself above anybody else. And I'm the kind of guy that I like to meet people, and I love making friends. It just makes the journey better. It makes the hobby so much more fun. I met so many great people wheeling in this community. It's just a lot of great people. And I've got friends that now we're family, it's just, we enjoy doing this. We enjoy getting together and doing this. I mean, Pope and Randi, those guys are awesome. I love wheeling with them. I had a great time with them last week. And then Steve, I never would have met Steven. It's just, my life has changed since GP.
Yeah.
It is just different. I never imagined my life this way, and Petra and I are enjoying it, and we really are.
That's fantastic. I think that's the message, right? Is just be instead of putting up walls between communities of tire size or vehicle type or whatever it is, or who it is your sponsors are. We've talked a lot about this stuff off air and those kinds of things. Like, it doesn't matter what those things are in those worlds. Like, we're all out there to enjoy off-roading, right? We're all out there to have a good time. We're all there to do the same stuff and have the same family. So just be aware of it when you're out there.
Yeah. Just be humble. It's just, life
remember where you came from.
Yeah. Remember where you came from. Yeah.
We all started somewhere.
Yeah, we're not that far removed from when we didn't know shit about shit, and we were the new guys on the trail that were annoying everyone. Like,
and 95% of us started with a stock Jeep or a stock vehicle.
Yep.
Yeah, and just life is short.
life's short. Recognize everybody's, where they're at, and they have their build to where it's at for them, and all the rest of it. Like, I can't agree with that enough, man. Like that's just a big thing.
People have given all of us opportunities, and you need to pay it forward.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't even know that they're going to want to do any of this stuff until you show them.
Yeah.
And it's a journey. Everybody's journey is slightly different, but like you said, we've met such great people in this community. We've met so many nice people. And when you can all get together around something in common, you form great bonds.
Yeah.
Our lives have changed a lot too.
Absolutely.
And they're way different than we ever anticipated with this off-roading career, not even a career, hobby. It is. It's not, we don't make any money off this. And so this is the same, we feel the same as you, Mike. We've just my mind is blown. If you sit back and look at it, whoa, this is our life now.
Yeah.
And we don't want to be gatekeepers to that. We want to show other people, here's how we can do this too. If you want to come wheeling with us, we're going to make you start a little bit at the beginning, but we're going to come out and play with you. We're not going to, we've got people like JoJo. Started wheeling a couple of years ago. She's a badass, but she wouldn't know she's a badass if we didn't give her the chance to be a badass. If we were like, oh, you don't have lockers, you don't have 37s, you can't come on this trail, how would she know that she's that good?
Right.
And give her that chance to step up and gain that confidence that she needed.
Yeah. And
how do you know if someone's a good wheeler if you don't give them a chance?
Yep. And her husband, Bryce, he's learning.
He's killer.
He's killing it.
He's learning. Like, he's only been on a few trails, and what? Did he do Plan B with you guys?
Yeah, he did Plan B with us.
But he can hold his own.
But if we didn't give him opportunity to come and wheel with us and try it, he wouldn't, he would get left behind and he wouldn't be interested in doing it. It may not be as good of a thing for him and JoJo, but Randy and I love this as a couple. So I want that for them.
Yeah. I know. I need to get Petra her own little Jeep now.
Or your own little Jeep. It's Petra's Jeep.
Oh,
there you go. Well,
I don't.
That's a tunnel that we could go down for a while. Who gets what Jeep? Maybe I get a different Jeep and buy one that's more built in some way, and Petra can have this one. But then I don't know. You would look weird not blue. You would look really, really weird without the Chief blue. It would be.
She wants a Cherokee. She wants a Cherokee.
That would be fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
be an XJ kind of girl. She'd be out there.
She strikes me as an XJ kind of gal.
Yeah.
She would be great. She could own that.
She used to have one, so her.
Yeah.
But does she want to rock crawl with it?
No.
Or does she just want?
No,
okay.
We don't.
You're gonna have a hard time finding an XJ that hasn't been chopped and turned into somebody's weekender.
Yeah. So.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Mike. I really appreciate you coming on the show and kind of just, sitting down with us to talk about you for a little while. I'm sure that we will have you back as a guest host. Next time, I hope you bring Petra with you because she's way more entertaining. No, just kidding. But no, she's welcome anytime too. But man, I have really, we've wheeled a couple times together now. I know that in this year I plan on doing a lot more of that, and I hope we do some more of that as a group going forward. So thanks for coming on the show, man, and thanks for the stuff that you did and showing me around and helping me gain some confidence this year in Sand Hollow.
You're welcome. It was fun. We got to do it again.
I had a great time with you that day. 100%, man. I've already got the plans. I've already told Jen that I won't be here that week.
All right.
So that one's cooked. That one's already cooked.
Well, we got to do Argentine Pass this year too.
That is 100%. That you don't have to convince me twice. Just tell me when you want to go.
All right.
I'll go. Yeah.
All right.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Mike. Check out Mike JKTrlFnder on Instagram. We'll link to him in the notes. That's all you're at, right? You don't have any YouTube channel? Facebook?
Yeah.
YouTube?
I've got a YouTube channel. It's JKTrlFnder, but it's spelled out. TrlFnder is spelled out, but it used to be my I started that years ago. So it goes back to with the kids in there when they were little and boating and it just evolved into TrlFnder page now.
That's okay. That happens. That's kind of what I did with mine on the Trailhead show. So that's the reason why we have 130 subscribers today. So awesome. All right. We'll get there. All right. Well, check Mike out, and if I don't see you, I'll see you online, but I'm sure I'll see you in person sooner than that.
Sooner, yeah.
Hope, Randy, thank you very much. And
nice seeing you guys.
Pleasure as always.
I had a good time with you guys last week.
Hey,
we had a
likewise,
blast.
man. It was great wheeling with you guys.
I'm really jealous of you all because I really wanted to go, and then my engine situation just said no. So maybe next year because now that I know everybody out there, I feel like I have to.
Yep.
Well, thank you very much, Mike. You have a great night. We'll see you guys next time with Trailhead.
Yep. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Hello, Trailheads, and welcome to the Trailhead. Before the trails start today, we need to have a short safety meeting. Off-roading is an exhilarating but inherently risky sport. The insights and opinions that are shared by our hosts and any experts or guests on the podcast are intended to inform and inspire, not replace professional guidance. The Trailhead guests, partners, and any sponsors are not liable for any actions that you take based on what you hear. It is your responsibility to seek professional advice and make informed decisions, especially when attempting potentially dangerous activities. Always check current trail conditions and comply with local laws and regulations. Off-roading requires careful preparation and respect for safety, so ensure that you're well prepared before hitting the trails. And now that that's out of the way, buckle up and let the stories begin.
Ready up, ready roll, feel the ground shake. Pedal down, just fly, no time to waste. The trail is calling, engines follow on a roll. This is where trails start and stories unfold. The starlit skies where the wild things roam. Every trail a journey, every jeep a home. Meet me at the trailhead where the wild ones run, where the dusk is high and the day's not done. With the road wide open and the dirt in our soul, this is where trails start and stories unfold. When the trail gets tough, we crank it up. Dig down deep, yeah, we never stay stuck. Jeeps on the ridge, friends by our side. We're on a road, full family, it's one hell of a ride. Race keep rolling, the days wearing thin. Gonna tell our stories round the trailhead again. Meet me at the trailhead where the wild ones run, where the dust came